There is a day ahead. There is a day ahead. And yesterday I sat down, it was Sunday. I printed off all of the months ahead of me. I printed off every month of this year. And I did this a while ago. And I planned out January and February. And I set a bunch of goals as to what I wanted to do by like the middle of February, which is about 2 weeks ago. And almost none of them were accomplished. Some of them were close, some of them were not close. But I set a lot of goals and it was overwhelming, and almost nothing positive came of it. Almost nothing positive came from it, only negative, only feeling like a failure for not achieving the goals. So yesterday I sat down and I put all of these months ahead of me, the following months, March through September. And I started to make a plan, and I started to make goals, and I sat down and I said, what needs to be improved the most? What about my life needs to be improved the most? And what do I admire about other people that I myself could adopt? And for what reason am I doing any of this? There's a story called The Myth of Sisyphus. And it doesn't really matter. The essence of the story is that there's a man who, during the ancient Greek times, he was a great man. He was a great man. For whatever reason, he was cast to be, or the gods wanted to challenge his fortitude. And so he was banished or required to every day for eternity, to push a rock up a mountain, push a boulder up a mountain, push a boulder up a hill, and then once he gets to the top of the hill, he is to let the boulder roll back down the hill, and then do it tomorrow. And that is Sisyphus. That is his life, and that is my life, and that is everyone's life. We live a day, we push a boulder up a hill, and we essentially let it fall back down the hill, because the very next day we will be required to push the hill up again, or push the rock up the mountain. There's a quote in Alice in Wonderland that says, when they get to when she goes down the rabbit hole, or the hole, or whatever, she sees the rabbit with the clock, and the rabbit with the clock says, I'm late. Quick, I'm late. I am late, quick. And then they have a conversation about that. And what they find out is, if you're in Wonderland, if you're in this place where the rabbit is at, you need to sprint every day, or you need to run at least. You need to run every day. And if you run every day, then tomorrow you'll be in the same spot that you were today. If you run today, tomorrow you will be in the same spot that you are today. If you don't run today, tomorrow you will be in a worse spot. If you go too many days in a row without running, you will be in the worst spot. Or you will get devoured by time. Thus, cease to live. And that is Wonderland. But if you want to get ahead, if you want to run, if you want to stay where you're at, you need to run. If you want to get ahead, then you need to sprint. So, is there a way am I doomed? Am I doomed? Are we all doomed? Are we all doomed to be like Sisyphus, where because I don't wish for that to be my existence. If I were to design an existence, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to push a rock up a mountain or a boulder up a mountain, and then I'll let it fall. That way I can do it again tomorrow. That seems trivial. It seems meaningless. And it seems like if I were to do that and to live that life, my life too would be meaningless. So there has to be a way around that. There has to be a way to transcend that monotony. There has to be a way to transcend that cycle. You do that, you do that, you do that. How can you escape that cycle? How can you escape that cycle? Maybe, is there a way to get the mountain to push itself up the hill? Or could you devise a device that takes the mountain up the hill? That doesn't solve the problem. That doesn't solve the problem. Because it's not a matter of the rock getting to the top of the mountain. The boulder getting to the top of the mountain is trivial. Just as it falls back down is trivial. The boulder itself is trivial. So too is the mountain. What matters is that is life. And that is what the gods commanded of Sisyphus. There isn't a way around it. There is no way around it. There is a way to get the rock up the mountain in a more efficient and quicker way. But there isn't a way to avoid labor. There certainly is not a way to avoid suffering. There is struggle in life, there is labor, there's difficulty. What will you do? You are Sisyphus, and the gods have commanded you to take this rock and take it from where it's at, point A, to point B, and do that every day. Take it up the mountain every day. Now, the gods have commanded you to do that. You are Sisyphus. What will you do? What will you do? What will you do? You are, in the Old Testament, you are the people. You are God's people. And Moses has led you out of Egypt and into the wilderness. And you are to live in the wilderness for 40 years. And you are to survive and to thrive out there. What will you do? That was the command of God. What will you do? And then you are Christ. You are Christ. And then the original people were not able to survive in the desert together for 40 years. Thus, you must fast in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. What will you do? Is there other options? Are there other options? Is there a way to do something other than push the rock up the mountain? What will you do? What is the reason for pushing the rock up the mountain? Maybe there is no alternative, but you get to pick which rock you take up the mountain, and you get to pick which mountain you take it up, and you get to pick how you take it up the mountain, and if you get good at it, you don't have to spend the entirety of your day taking the rock up your mountain. It can just be a thing that you do for a small amount of time, and then live the rest of your day. Live the rest of your day. It's morning, it's early in the week, It's easy to, you may be ahead, you may be behind, it doesn't matter. It's easy to make excuses and say and put off for tomorrow what could be done today. It's early in the week, no momentum. Let me just work hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or let me just start the week strong and get the momentum today. Let me take all of the momentum today, and then the spot that I'm in come Thursday will be indistinguishable from where I'm at today. What will you do? What will you do? Random nonsense. That's what this has been. Random nonsense. But for a reason. Random nonsense, but for a reason. You have to take the rock up the mountain. But what is the difference between a somebody who goes to their job and they work all of the hours that their boss is required, and then they leave for the day? What is the difference between that person and the person who chooses to go forth today? There's somebody who survives and they have desires and they have aspirations and cravings, even worse, cravings, and then they spend the day acting on impulse. The difference between an artist and someone who is mediocre. The difference between an artist and someone who is mediocre, somebody who does something out of a hobby, is commitment. The artist gets into a flow state, and they always get into a flow state, or they don't, but either way is the same. Because if that person is truly an artist, they sat down to do the work yesterday. They sat down to paint yesterday. They sat down to write. And now they've done it again today. And they'll do it tomorrow. And they know that the muse will come to them today, or it will not. And either way is fine, because they will be back in this chair tomorrow. And same thing tomorrow. The muse will come tomorrow, or it will not. But they will be back in the chair the following day. And the artist knows that through labor and through discipline, they will reach the better place. They will fly with the muse to the place where they create, where creation occurs. They will reach heaven. They are committed to the pathway. There isn't other options, which is the key. There aren't other things that could happen. There is create or nothing. And so because of that, they're committed, and they know that creation, whether it's today or tomorrow, it will eventually happen, and it will happen in a beautiful way. It's only a matter of sacrifice. It's only a matter of putting in the work. It's only a matter of overcoming the struggle. You will arrive at the better place. You will arrive at the better place. How will you arrive? How will you arrive? This place that you're in right now is temporary. It's certainly temporary. And you will dread this place and the monotony of it as long as you lose perspective and forget that this place is temporary. Don't survive as long as you're here. Look down, look at the present moment that you're in right now, and choose to thrive. Choose to thrive and your future self will thank you.